It's useful to understand how embeddings are created in order to understand what they are, right? You can basically decide to create a representation that puts similarly colored products together, right? And then train a model with that objective, and then you'll have a database structure that helps you find similarly colored objects really quickly, right? Without, and that's a description that you don't need to understand what each dimension in that vector array actually represents, because you kind of understand it through seeing what is it good for or how it was created. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I feel like even further, we can take this down to basics in the sense of, how do I even get embeddings? Where do I even get embeddings? And I feel like, Jacky, you might be one that can really answer this question.
Yeah. So how can we get embeddings? Really, it's from a lot of different kind of models, honestly. So you have like deep learning models. If you train them, you can get like the second last layer or even the third last layer. You can actually use that as embeddings. Also, on top of that, one thing I really wanted to talk about was actually, explaining embeddings a way because we talk to non-technical people all the time. We have a really unique way of explaining it is comparing it to DNA. So it's kind of like when you think about DNA, your DNA is going to be very similar to your parents' DNA. There's a saying that says DNA is the code of life. We like to think of vector as the code of unstructured and complex data.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. The DNA comparison is awesome. That also gets right into the similarity, kind of the search aspect of it. What's the typical workflow around using embeddings in practice, Harmke?
Typical workflow of using embeddings. So how I see this work at customers is that, first, of course, you have to pre-process your data, right? So you have to make sure that all your data is encoded so you can actually store it. So this is where the vector database comes in. You can also find a more simple approach to start experimenting, maybe using them locally first. But eventually, when you start working with them at scale, you would store them in a vector database. And that's when you can start querying, basically. So you can start embedding of this photo of your shoe, for example, and you can, basically retrieve embeddings for more relevant shoes that basically look like the one that you sent to your database. So that could be a way of working with it.